into, or is about to move into, the last quarter, so we have a waning moon. And my vision that came through for the collective consciousness here on planet Earth was very, very interesting. It happened when I was actually sitting out on the back porch, enjoying the night sky and watching that immense moon rise over the horizon. Of course, as we get closer and closer to the new moon, it'll draw back a little bit and become less of a visual treat. Anyway, nonetheless, the vision that came through I thought was kind of fun, kind of interesting, because as I was sitting there, I was kind of magically transported into a space where I was observing a clock. And it was an old grandfather clock, a huge, massive, very impressive clock that obviously would dominate the room, both with its presence as well as with all of the sounds it was making. It was clicking away, and you could hear the little chains moving inside, and you could see the pendulum moving back and forth and back and forth. And all of a sudden, this semi-transparent hand just kind of came out of nowhere, and it opened the door to the pendulum on the clock, and it stopped the pendulum. And then the vision just vanished. It was over. And I thought, well, this is something to ponder. This is kind of an interesting idea. And then obviously the obvious became obvious, and that was that in order to step out of time and space and the intensity of our lives, we have to stop the pendulum. And what is the pendulum alluding to? It's that constant process of giving the mind allowance for making judgments. This is good, so the pendulum moves to the right. This is bad, the pendulum moves to the left. And that's what our little minds are always doing. Our little minds are creating that illusion of time, and the pendulum that keeps that illusion in process, that keeps the illusion going and unfolding and keeps us trapped on the treadmill in life, is the constant activity of the mind, switching its role from positive to negative, switching its focus and its acceptance of, or its belief in what it is witnessing, back and forth, good, bad, good, bad. So, going with this vision, the next obvious thought is meditation is one of the ways that we can stop the constant tick-tock of our little brains. And when I recommend meditation to some of my clients in the process of doing a reading for them, they always come up with, oh, it's impossible for me to meditate, I can't meditate. And so I thought I would give you a little story that comes to us from ancient China that I think is a good illustration of what it is that we want to do, or what it is we need to put our attention on when we are trying to enter that more tranquil space where we're disengaging from the timeline for a brief period and able to reset ourselves and come back into a space of serenity and confidence, because those are two of the most important elements in how we approach life on a day-to-day basis. So the story goes something like this. There was once a farmer in China. This is a Chinese story and probably comes to us from some ancient Buddhist or Taoist philosophy. But nonetheless, there is a farmer, and he has a horse, a male horse, a stallion, and the stallion is the most important part of the actual farm itself, because although the earth gives forth its abundance in terms of the crops that are yield, nonetheless the horse is a key element in plowing this field. So one morning the horse bolts and takes off and runs away and is gone for a few days. And all of the neighbors stop by and commiserate with the farmer. And they say, "Oh, that was such a horrible stroke of luck. Our condolences." And the farmer says, "Well, it just is what it is." He was very neutral about it. He didn't get into the pity pot kind of mindset. He didn't feel sorry for himself. He merely felt like it's appropriate to wait and see what's going to happen next. So a few weeks later, the horse comes back, and the horse brings a mare with it. So all of a sudden the farmer's got not only his plow horse back, but he's got this beautiful mare that is smitten with the plow horse and is probably going to produce more horses as time goes along. Well, all the neighbors stop by and they say, "Oh, you are so fortunate. That was just, an incredible stroke of luck. Look how blessed you are." And everybody's, pumping him up. And once again the farmer says, "Well, we'll just wait and see. This is what it is." So a few weeks later, the farmer's son, his eldest boy, who was, again, very integral in the survival of the farm, who contributed him a vast amount of work in producing the crops and tilling the fields. The young man is trying to train the mare, and there is an accident, and the young man's arm is broken. So once again all the neighbors stop by, and they're offering their condolences once again. "You poor fellow, this is another incident of bad luck creeping up on you." And the farmer once again says, "Well, we'll just wait. We will see." And a few weeks later, a war was put into motion, and so the emperor of that region came through and conscripted all the able-bodied young men. And were it not for the fact that the farmer's son's arm had been broken, he would have been put into the military and taken off and carried into war. And I think that's a good way of giving us that in-depth overview of what judgment really does. Judgment is probably the most irrelevant thing that we can engage in. And if you really pay attention to yourself on a day-to-day basis, it is a very natural tendency. You're always in that process saying, "This is good, that's bad, this is right, that's wrong." And that puts you into that state of running away from the bad stuff and chasing after the good stuff. And you can make decisions without having to have a judgment. You merely make a logical decision based on a conclusion, and that's how you guide your life. But if you're constantly allowing the mind to engage in that tick-tock, tick-tock, swinging pendulum activity, that is seductive. That brings you into the timeline. That brings you into the day-to-day, moment-to-moment escape from the true reality. And that true reality is that place of serenity where the mind is at peace and where you are disengaged from the passage of time and you merely become the observer of time. And within that, the amount of empowerment is immense. So as we move into this last phase of this waning moon, you might want to think about the activities that compel you to stay engaged in life and really give some thought to whether or not it is that important for you to be constantly judging every event, every situation, every individual that you encounter. And perhaps by disengaging from that constant back and forth, you'll discover that you're able to give yourself allowance for meditation, that you can step more easily and gracefully into that place where you're no longer constantly allowing that activity that keeps you away from your own sense of inner harmony, inner peace, and most importantly, your empowerment. So that's your vision as we move through Sunday. And Sunday is a good day to practice meditation because for most of us, we don't have the regular work week that'll start tomorrow on Monday. So think about that. Kick the idea around over the next 24 hours and see if that helps in the practice of meditation, and if that practice of meditation does give you the results and the rewards that virtually everyone that I know who practices it makes claim to. So, a beautiful week is unfolding for us. Get out there, share the love, move around, pass the love around. Have a fantastic time, and the next vision or dream or insight will probably come through before the middle part of the week here. Bye now.
When they yo, no one